Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
Guys, we are here this week to review part one of The End of the Death, part one, or sorry, volume one. But the first part of volume one.
part, part one, volume one, subsection B.
Before we get too far into things, as always, hit us up on Discord and from that pin to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresiLodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. We have merch, Christmas time, Hanukkah time, Kwanzaa time, whatever other holidays are in there. Throw them in. It's time for that. It's gift giving time. Give everyone what they want, and that is a Heresy Lodge pint glass. Maybe
everybody has been asking about those Heresy Lodge pint glasses.
They have been, and you know what? It's getting fucking cold. We're in December. You know what keeps you nice and warm? A Heresy Lodge sweatshirt.
Protect your money, everybody, because money goes up and down in value, but Heresy Lodge merch historically has stayed the same.
It has, and guess what? We can't take money with us when we die. All right, God doesn't have a credit card machine, probably.
Probably.
The devil might.
We actually have no idea.
You know, Satan could, Zeus might. I don't know. Zeus is looking for some putang. All right.
Yeah.
So if you're a woman, you're in business up there.
You're good. You're all set.
But Gavin, I see you're chugging your water. You're prepping yourself for this episode. What the fuck did you just prep yourself to drink?
I'm making a drink tonight.
We got the mixologist back. Gavin, the alchemist Franklin, is here.
It's been a rough.
What contraption?
It's been a rough day and a rough time reading this book. So I'm going to be making, to my best ability, the whiskey sidecar. So I made the glass cold. I'm going to say it was on purpose. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Could be pretty quick. I don't have any measurement tools whatsoever. So we'll see how
measurement.
1.5
for the Europeans.
1.25 ounces of bourbon. I don't
know. Yeah, that's about right.
That was way more
count than the gloves. That's how you know how much it's in there.
If it's one, I'll tell you what, I'll just have to add more of everything else now, I guess. All right, so 0.5 ounces of orange liqueur. Got some triple sec here.
2 gloves is probably about 1.5 ounces.
And then some lime juice.
Yeah, just squirt that bitch in there.
And then they want me to shake it. That's fine.
You know, I really wish you would have done it like up here or something, because if you're on YouTube, you might be a little confused on what Gavin's doing, especially with his facial expression while he was doing it.
Okay, I got it all shaken up.
Yeah, that was a good shake.
Man, that was a pretty good time.
I'd like this book.
There literally ain't a lot of liquid in there. Maybe I actually did the measurements pretty well. And then I'm going to top it. Check it out. I'm topping this shit
with an umbrella
garnish. Now, I don't have a potato peel, so I'm just going to use a butter knife to get some orange peel off of here and try to avoid the actual orange. I did pretty well.
Nice.
I've been like...
rub it around the rim?
Yeah, get it around the rim there. I kind of know what I'm doing. And then I'm going to cut. Now my fingers are just sticky as hell.
Now catch it on fire. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna sacrifice my virgin, and it's a whiskey sidecar. It's not too bad. The orange peel is very thick, so I couldn't do any twisting. It just looks a little dilapidated.
No, you're supposed to just rub it on there, then you put the orange peel in there.
Damn, it's pretty good.
Look at you,
good.
The alchemist.
Look at me, I'm killing it. I definitely eyeballed those measurements. What are you drinking? Probably just some fucking beer.
Oh, no. See, this is the one, like, marriages always have their up and down, right? The best thing about them, though, is if you marry someone who fucking knows you. So she's at the store, right? She tells me this entire fucking story, so I got to repeat it.
Of course.
Apparently, the price tag on this beer said $999.99. She's like, I'm gonna go scan that. So she did.
Just out of
It's
curiosity, she
yeah.
would be the person, not even thinking of you at this point in time. She just sees the price tag and is like, what the fuck is that?
So of course she fucking buys it. Not $1,000, but it is right up my alley. This is from B Nectar Orange Cream Delight Mead with
Oh,
natural
get the
orange and
fuck out of
vanilla.
here. What can you show? What does it look like here? Bee nectar. Where's it from?
Yes. Produced and packed by B Nectar, Ferndale, Michigan.
Michigan. They've got one in Ohio that's really good too. I don't think it's bee nectar.
It's very good.
We're
It's not like
surrounded.
super sweet, which is fucking wonderful. It's just it's nice, little crisp. Big fan.
That's great.
Does it smell great? Tastes great though.
I'm not a big orange sickle fan. Like I feel like that drink fad kind of swept the nation at one point. It's like okay. I feel like it makes me a
It's
little
like
sick. It's a
you
lot of
can kind of
sugar.
taste like the orange, like dreamsicle thing, like at the end, but like it kind of just tastes like a kind of like a dry white wine with like a little something at the end of it.
What's the like big brewery near us that does like the dreamsicle? Is it Sun King?
Sun King, yeah, they're the orange cream vanilla ale.
I don't like it.
I'm a big fan.
It's weird. Just leave your cream vanilla out of my beer.
There's some good cream ales out there though.
Get your cream out of my beer, man.
Look, my cream belongs in everyone's beer.
Hey, bro,
It's an enhancer,
get your cream out of my mouth.
but I like it.
You know who else I want their cream out of my mouth? Do you know who else I want to how would you to get their cream out of my mouth?
Ooh.
Dan Abnett.
Yeah, so we are both completely randomly are a page apart.
Not anymore. I read quite a bit more
Oh,
today.
this fucking bitch, guys. He knew how close I was, and he was like, I can't let this happen.
I gotta get ahead.
This guy, oh, I'm so busy at work. Reads like 100 pages.
Well, sometimes work for me recently has been well, I don't read during work, but like it's been like,
Gavin, you
oh, I have
texted
like a
me at noon, and
15
it's 6 p.m.
I have a 15-minute break in between each meeting and not enough to eat, not enough to do anything. Sometimes I'll read a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I may have started speed reading this book a little bit.
You know, I understand why.
I kind of like skim it and I'm like, okay, does anything important happen on this page? Or is it just a bunch of adjectives about how people feel and or random people fighting at random places without any sort of motive? Most of the time, it's the latter.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not even that much fighting. Sometimes it's just people just fucking being there, existing. I'm like, okay. You know what I don't understand? So I understand that the series is called The Siege of Terra. This whole time, we have been told Gilman and the Lion are on their way. They are
Mm-hmm.
here to save the day. Why have we gotten zero POV of what the fuck is taking them so long? Anything. Not like we haven't got a short story. It's just, we should talk about these 35 custodians that never had names before, but now they have like 75 names, which is crazy. That means like they
It's
did a
just
lot of
one
stuff.
custodian. It's one custodian with all of those names.
Yeah, or oh, let's talk about finger painting. Okay, I guess. I would rather know what the fuck's been taking Gilliman so long and the Lion with his teleporter.
Well, let's talk about
Where the hell's
Alpha Legion doing things that are very Alpha Legion to the point of annoyance, to the point where it doesn't make any fucking sense.
yeah. The
Well,
thing is, like, Dan was not handed over a turd. Like, he was given a great place to start this book. And instead, he's trying to rewrite the last 7 books to make up in his book.
I'm very curious. I really, really want to know if Dan was told by Black Riot Library that he needed to make it 3 books, or if that was a decision of his own.
I don't know, but it ain't great.
So you're absolutely right when you were like, he was like, let's just rewrite all these books. I've got plenty of for instances. Instance number one, and I don't know if you've gotten here
Guys,
yet.
we are only like 200-ish pages in. We're a third of the way through the book.
Yeah.
And this is, I know it sounds bad, but we hate this book.
It
So we're
might
going to
be.
dog it. And people are going to say, oh, it gets better in the end. I shouldn't have to read over 200 pages for a book to be good.
I'm close to
And
page
I'm
200.
over 200 pages. That's not good.
Yeah.
This is a 600-page book, followed by a 700-page book, followed by who knows what's after that one. And
This is 650.
I'm on page 228, and they're already like saying, okay, we're going to go to the Vengeful Spirit. So what the fuck is going on for the next 1,300 pages?
Yeah. Here, here's one for like all the previous books of the Siege. Dan kind of has this tendency to be like, okay, fuck all that. Like, let's kind of do what I want to do. And he tends to like take it out on the characters. I'll give you, for instance, you haven't gotten here yet, but I'm going to spoil this for you.
You bitch.
Zahariel is there.
No, I got there. When did he join that? I was pretty sure he was still with Luther.
I'm pretty sure Zahariel in the books is supposed to be what's his face?
Oh, he's supposed to be Cypher.
Cypher. He's literally supposed to never
You're
reveal
right. He is
his
supposed to be
face.
Cypher
Yeah.
with Luther.
Yeah. I know.
Huh. Huh. Yeah.
But
There's that.
Zahariel's there. And recall, so it's revealed obviously that Zahariel was the one that killed what's his face. And
Yeah, the captain that Course Swain sent.
yeah.
I don't remember who it was. He was a Terran, I think, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was on Luther's side,
Yeah.
but he started to like pull away or whatever. So you're like, okay, based off of all the readings in, I want to say it was Saturnine. I think it might have been Mortis.
I blocked Mortis out of my memory.
Might have been one of those two. Basically, it seems like they killed that guy because he was trying to side with Cor Swain. Right? And what they said in the meeting with him was like, we don't want you to relight the Astronomicon because we don't want the Emperor to win. That was what they said in that book. That's
Oh,
when
are
they,
you talking about the librarian
yeah,
that's dead?
yeah,
I don't even remember this guy.
yeah. So like, well,
I thought
remember
he was just a new character.
he got like ganged up on by some people at the
It
end.
was probably Saturday Night because that was Dan's book.
I think it was Saturnine. It was in the same book that like, yeah, I think it was Saturnine. Same book that they were caught up in, that all in them were caught up in the Emperor's Children Garden.
Yeah, Saturday
Yeah.
Night.
So they ganged up on him and they were like, hey, you, we don't want you to light the beacon to get the Emperor, so we're going to kill you.
Also, I love that they're like, we're gonna call this Astronomicon that we've been calling the Astronomicon for thousands of years, the Beacon Hill. Like
Mm-hmm.
what?
So all of a sudden, like you get this POV with Zahariel, and he's meeting with the other like cronies that beat up this dude. And at one point in the book, he agrees to help Corswain open the Astronomicon. And literally one of the cronies, who I feel like should be Dan Abnett, who fucking wrote Saturnine, was like, hey, didn't we kill that guy to not light the Astronomicon? And Zahariel, his literal response was like, yeah, but it was for a different reason because now that I think about it, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, what? First off, what the fuck is going on? Why is Zahariel even here? And why the fuck is he like reverting his entire decision making process from previous books that he made super clear and intentful? Because Dan's like, well, now that I'm there, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just gonna like pseudo retcon all that in order for this book to make sense. And it's incredibly frustrating.
What was the same that guy that also made Sisters of Silence randomly invisible?
Dan did that too, didn't he? Yeah.
He sure fucking did.
Yeah. And then we have like this scenario where like the first time you see Dorn, he's just kind of fucking in the palace. And like you're like, wait a minute, weren't you a Bad Bastion? And it doesn't tell you like how he got from Bad Bastion to the palace. It just shows that Bad Bastion fell, and then it's like, and Dorn fucking made his way there.
Yep. And
so for 200 pages, that could have been done in like 20 pages, but you wrote 20 like useless pages, and then Dorn just appears at the palace.
yeah, we haven't even gotten to Horse yet. This is the worst storyline I think I've read in all the Horus Heresy, all the Siege. He has made him a bumbling idiot. Apparently he's talking to Oilton, who we were complaining about in the preview. Turns out this is all a figment of his fucking imagination. Oilton's not even there. This is apparently present time, not the past. And he's like seeing people that aren't fucking there, but yet he's the only Primarch left and leading a giant fucking siege against Terra. That makes no fucking sense. He's beating Sanguinius, Dorn, the Emperor, Malcador, all the Imperial Guard, and he doesn't even know who the fuck he is. Who's talking to him? What
Super
the fuck
delusional.
he's doing? He doesn't know left from right. And he's like, yeah, no, you guys are fucking retards. Like, just drop everything and everything dies. That's all you gotta do.
It reminds me of that scene from Mortis, another great book, where he's like, yo, let's attack Mercury Wall. And Porter was like, that's really stupid. That's where all their big guns are. And Horus is like, it'll fall because I will it.
Yeah. So his whole
Like,
thing right now,
cool.
he's going through like screaming at people, thinking that like he's stupid. He's calling Argona still Malahurst and saying Sejanus is there and a bunch of other stuff. And then he names off fucking 50 demon names. Like, oh, you guys are fucking idiot. Like, you don't know who these people are. Like, that's Be'lakor, blah, 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 blah. And then there's Samus behind us. And everyone's just like, sure. Like, shut the fuck up, Sejanus. All right. I'm talking. And then it gets even better. He's like, oh, Bulletin's paying attention to this. Like, are you trying to fuck her or like your imaginary friend right now?
Can I? Does he talk to Laylac? He talks to
He
Laylac, right?
says Laylac. I'm so fucking confused in this
Laylac
book.
has a conversation with him. He's like, because they're like, we don't know who these other people are. We were hoping you would tell their names. And Laylac's like, yes, they are the ones that I summoned. And he's like, thank you, Laylac. And I don't know, like, if Dan just forgot Laylac's dead, because it doesn't make sense that Horus would be like remembering Laylac because he seems to be remembering like people from the Crusade very
Yeah.
clearly. So I don't know why Laylac would be there because he didn't come up as a character like way later, and he just recently died. So unless Dan's like, nope, Laylac is actually alive. I don't know.
None of this makes sense. And it's even better. His fucking genius idea, right? He's going to turn off the shields of the Vengeful Spirit. Now, this is where I get so fucking mad. All right. We have this whole thing with Malcador talking to the Emperor, yada, 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 yada. And they say, oh, the shields go down. You know what I would fucking do? You know what's still around? The fucking phalanx. All right? You fucking put that thing out of orbit and you shoot the fucking big ship without the shields on. Boom! It's done. Horus is dead. Holy shit. You know why? It's because he turned off the shields.
You know,
No, we got to board the ship.
the whole thing, it's just so frustrating because like the way it's written, it just everything. For instance, the shield goes down, and like one of the Dan literally says through characters things that don't make sense, and then like refutes them nonsensically with other characters. Like for instance, like Argonis is like you lowered the shields, but like the White Scars hold Lionsgate Spaceport, and they're like blowing up our ships. And Horus's response was like, "There, that doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal."
They'll
I'm
miss.
like, oh, like way to completely unjustify an entire 600-page book of Warhawk where like they went in to take the ports for the very same reason to deter ships from entering orbit. Just be like, yeah, no, fuck that book. We're gonna pretend, we're just gonna say that that's not really, it's unimportant.
We have too many ships. They'll just keep missing this one.
There's just too many ships. The actual outcome of that book is just that the Khan and Mortarion had a cool fight, but nothing that happened in it actually impacted the siege at all. I don't think you understand. Every time you open a book, it's like the rest of the books didn't happen. That's the way you should read books, and that's the way they need to be written. That's like what Horace is telling me when he's like, doesn't matter. We can just come in right with our shields off. There's no fucking consequences to my actions just because somebody holds a spaceport for this very purpose. I get so frustrated. Like, why is this a plot line? Like, the plot makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. And again, I'm on page 227. Last thing I saw, the Emperor's getting ready to board the Vengeful Spirit. Like they are planning, like this is their thing. What's going to happen in the next 400 pages? Because that tells me in this book, I should have the remaining Primarchs, Valdor, the Emperor, all going to the Vengeful Spirit. That's what I should be seeing in this book, and I should see some fucking fighting. There's 400 pages left, and I know the next book is when Sanguinius fights Horus. So what the fuck is going to happen? Because it's going to be dragged out.
It's not even just the next book, it's the end of the next book. So
Yeah.
there's still about 1,100 pages in between now and when Sanguinius fights Horus.
Is maybe the rest of the book is about the perpetual storyline. I don't know. Also, you know who's missing from this book? That makes no sense who is missing. Sigismund. Where the fuck is Sigismund?
Oh,
Fact
I
their
don't
reign
know.
is listed in the book.
But you know who's in the book, but you also don't really know where they are is fucking Loken. Because apparently in this book, Loken just reveals that turns out you can just teleport now because the warp is there. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that we added the plot device of teleporting. Like, how much more convenient for the author at the later point in time when he wants two people who are at two different distances to fight. I guarantee you, like, what's happening is Dan is like reading the accounts of all of the various different fights that took place in the old lore. He's like, well, we have to make all of those happen, but it doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to add in teleporting and now we'll be able to do all of those things.
Also, in this book, Horus mentions, when at the end of this fight, you're gonna be able to say you were there the day that Horus slayed the Emperor. I fucking called it that the end of the last book is going to finish with that fucking line. I called it from the beginning. I'm fucking right. Like, there's no way. Like,
Well, I'm
he
sure you are.
foreshadowed that so fucking hard in this book. Like, why? Like, yeah,
I'm
it was a
sure you're
really
right.
cool line when we first read the book. But
I'm
do we? I hate being raised sometimes.
I'm sure you're right. I don't think anyone was like debating. Like it was. I
No,
think it
it's
was
just so
pretty
stupid. It's
obvious.
so obvious. That's why I hate it.
It's more annoying that they use it more and more because it makes it less and less interesting.
Yeah, or even just powerful. Like that first sentence in Horus Rising is like, oh, okay, this is a little confusing, and then you find out it's a fake emperor, and now you have him foreshadowing saying it again, but it's just gonna be Logan.
Let's talk about the perpetual storyline. I want to complain about that for a minute.
Yeah, it's a storyline.
This is, in my opinion, right now the most interesting storyline.
I agree.
Because of Alfarius.
It's Peck. We got a guy from Legion. He's back.
Yes. So Peck is there. However, it is also one of the most frustrating storylines to me because of Alfarius. Because some real Alfarius shit happens. And it's really frustrating because I want to understand it and I want them to explain it, but I know they never will. And I'm like, okay, not only am I going to be unsatisfied with the ending of the story, but now I know that like three characters are just going to do things for random reasons and it will never be explained why they did them. So at one point in time, Peck reveals to John Grammaticus that he was awakened on Terra using a specific code that was supposed to be for protecting the Emperor, and that there are like six other codes that you could be awakened under. But the code to be awakened for protecting the Emperor is Xenophoma or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And then he reveals that this Akate lady, who is actually what's her face, the blind lady
Yeah.
from, yeah, you know who she is,
Yeah.
the word bearer, blind mistress,
Yep.
whatever. She is psychically controlling him to convince him that he was actually awakened under the code word that the Alpha Legion are then supposed to attempt to control or destroy chaos.
To her.
Okay. Then later in the story, and he's only able to tell this because he's wearing a psychic dampener, and they're far enough away from her that he can reveal this to John Grammaticus. Huge loophole in this story. I feel like as soon as the psychic dampener wore out, or you got too close to her again, if he's really being like mind controlled by this person, then wouldn't he then be like, oh fuck, I just told John, now I need to kill him? Like he makes it seem like he physically cannot go against this like concept or idea if that's what he's programmed to do. So I'm
Yeah.
very confused on why he thinks that like telling somebody outside the programming would prevent him under programming from trying to rectify that issue. But hey,
Whatever.
you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother problem though. One point in time, John Grammaticus comes across another Alpha Legionnaire, and it's somebody else. And this is really confusing because John Grammaticus tells the other Alpha Legionnaire, oh, you were like awakened under the code of Xeno whatever, which was protect the Emperor. We're on the same side. But this guy tries to kill John anyway. So Peck shows up and kills the Alpha Legionnaire and then reveals to John that they were both awakened under the same code to protect the Emperor. So my question is, why the fuck did they try to kill each other?
Because he didn't want John to die, obviously.
But why would the other Alpha Legionnaire try to kill John? He
John's
said that
sketchy.
he was sent there. The other guy, Peck told us that the other guy was sent there to awaken these other guys under Xeno, whatever, which was protect the Emperor. Which to me kind of seems like why then would Igno Peck try to kill this guy? Unless they're trying to make the argument that now he's reverted back to the control chaos and therefore has to kill all the Alpha Legionnaires awakened under the protect the Emperor. And John's just simply okay with that for now.
Well, John got the shit kicked out of him, so as far as they think, God, I'm still alive.
I just I'm so confused on like what the fuck, like the Alpha Legions. If someone can explain it to me in Discord, that'd be great because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, it's been a rough read. And like the perpetual storyline, I don't even know what's even happening, but I do enjoy it the most so far because it's the only thing that's actually maybe accomplishing something.
Progressing in a sense, yeah.
And it's it's more than just Horus going off the fucking deep end, but still outsmarting several Primarchs and the Emperor, whatever. I just I just don't understand. Like maybe we're just cynical because we've been reading all these books back to back to back to back. Maybe if we waited a year, this would be like okay. But goddamn.
I don't think that's true. I mean, we just got done reading Echoes of Eternity, and that
Yeah.
was great. Warhawk was great.
Yeah. I don't know. I was talking to like Blood of Sanguinius on Discord the other day, and he was like, "Oh, the book is so good." I'm like, "This book fucking is dog shit, dude. I cannot stand it."
At one point in time, Fafnir Rand gets attacked by a bunch of like chaos things through mirrors.
Sure.
And
Wonder where his
I'm
cabin.
like, where the fuck is Fafnir Rand?
Where the fuck is the guy that he works under?
Yeah. And my whole thing is like, okay, are you fighting in the palace? Because it seems like they're outside of the palace. And then he gets saved by Ascalon and Zephyr, which I'm even more confused about because I thought Zephyr was sealed inside the palace. So I don't know if they're just like
Yeah, Zephyr is
walking
in the
around
palace.
in the palace now, like all murdering each other. But I don't think that like there's a bunch of space marines and like traders in the palace. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I
I
don't
don't know.
think that's the case.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening in this book.
Like your Freddy Keeler is not in the palace, right? She's like outside of the
I
palace.
think she's supposed to be. Like I think there's like there's like palace walls. I mean, like they're all inside the palace walls.
I thought it was like, no, we went through the gate, like we're in, because she's like, keep moving north. And at one point, like Loken's there, not with her, but he shows up, and the
He's
person's like, oh,
teleporting.
you're trying to get to this other place that's like 4 miles away. I'm like, I get that the palace is big, but it definitely seems like they're fighting outside. Like, I feel like they're fighting outside. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid, but
Maybe. That's how the book is written.
I feel like every time I see someone fighting, I'm like, if you're outside
Well,
of the
I mean, at one point
palace,
there's a Titan.
yeah,
So I don't know.
I don't exactly. Like, there's a Titan lying
We
around.
see what's her face from Titan Death.
Yeah, we see one, or we see the girl from Mortis who paired up with the Legio from Titan Death
Yeah.
and her little warhound.
Hani. Mohani.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like they're outside, but I'm sitting here thinking like, how the fuck is there like absurd number of people outside the palace or even fights going on outside the palace? There was just a 2 day siege laid upon the largest wall of the palace that was besieged, in which they summoned Kalbunda and Angron and were overrun by the sheer numbers of traders. Like that means that like they've pushed through the wall and there's people outside of the wall still fighting like days later in the midst of this giant army apparently that's strong enough to overcome this. I'm just so confused. And like if there's humans walking around just chilling out, like aren't demons just like appearing all the time? Like isn't that kind of a thing now? Like how the fuck are there humans just walking around the palace if Bellicor and Scarbrand are
Yeah,
just
what?
chilling out? Like what the fuck? And Nakiri and Hugath and like all these huge raider demons, they're like, oh yeah, that giant massive humans, yeah, they have plot armor, so we don't go anywhere near them.
We're only gonna mention them this one time in this random book, Like, how fucking cool would it have been seeing Sanguinius fight like Bellator or Bellator? That would have been fucking
Bellator
sick.
is such a much like way more badass like than almost any of these other demons that have existed.
Scarbrand didn't Scarbrand like try to kill Karn?
Yeah. And he
I
got
want to see
thrown
him fucking
across.
fight somebody.
Yeah, he got Scarbrand got mentioned at one point last book. Um, but it's like it's so confusing. Like the scale of this is like off the fucking charts to ridiculousness. Like at one point, it's small enough that massive movements of humans can just make their way north with little to no problems.
What
But on
makes
the
less
other
sense
side,
is you're right. This is like the scale is so big, but this is the smallest of the scale from what it should be from the books, right? Like we started, it's all of Terra.
yeah,
We are at the end. There is no more 55 balls or whatever the fuck.
yeah, it's like
We're at the final battle, and they're like, but no, there's more.
it's weird to me that you can say that fucking Kugath and Be'lakor and Scarbrand and Nakari are all down on the same city, not Earth, not planet, the same city and like inner city of the city. And like it's totally fine for like masses of humans to just walk around undisturbed in the
Yeah, I
city.
remember what happened when it was Kyle Bunda and some random fucking Slaneshi demon. They were in a fucking castle of bones.
It was a
It
massacre.
was insane. There were planets smiling. What is happening?
It's so hard to like wrap your head around like what this is supposed to be. And it seems like the concept is like we need to be able to write a story with humans involved and they have to be able to be comfortable enough to have conversations or else this is just going to be like a they have to be able to survive because we need some humans to survive to tell the story, but we also want to make it epic, so we're going to throw in Be'lakor, we're going to throw in Kugath, we're going to throw in Dakar, we're going to throw in Scarbrand. So like it's just so hard to be like, hey guys, that doesn't actually make sense. Like maybe we can take a step back and we don't need Be'lakor. Maybe some things can go wrong for the traders, like that's okay too.
Literally anything.
Anything.
You think losing all the Primarchs would have like damaged them, but they're like,
Yeah.
no, like we just summon more demons and it's fucking fine.
They're getting fucking demolished by these traitor legions who, first off, most of them shouldn't exist. Like the Alpha Legion, the Thousand Sons, a majority of the Emperor's children really shouldn't be there. At the end of the last book, almost all of the world leaders should be killed at this point because they literally turned on the rest of the legions. So I have no idea like how they're mounting successful assaults. Like,
Not to mention, Horus like fucking dementia.
yeah, like their leader literally has no idea where he is. So
He
like,
was calling it the wrong fucking planet, and then like he randomly like was like, oh yeah, we're like fighting Terra, and like where I'm gonna kill the Emperor. Like literally, like in like the same chapter, he went from not knowing where the fuck he was to oh yeah, we're gonna take over Terra, but oh yeah, St. Janus is still there. Like, wait, what the fuck is happening?
it's all over the place. It kills me. It absolutely kills me. Then you have Malkador. The fuck?
Malcador is just like talking to the Emperor, and it's I mean, I'm assuming it's just foreshadowing his death, but especially because he's like, oh, yes, I know what I have to do. He's literally having a one-way conversation. But
Well,
he's
here's the
just talking
thing.
about the
Like,
past, but the Emperor and oh, like went back way, way, way back then. Like the Emperor would like finger paint. Like this is what the battle happens.
back when the Emperor was finger painting, you just have like everyone around him. Like, what the fuck is this guy on about right now? It's a
He went on
finger
about finger
painting.
painting like 5 times.
It's a finger painting, guys. We got a finger paint and we'll be Horus.
It's just so much better than technology. It's on the walls. Like, what the fuck are you saying? The red is blood, guys. Like, what don't you get?
Everyone is so high. I've been trying to. So crazy.
Just don't. What is happening? I wanted to come into this book and like really like it. Like, it's a Dan book. Like, it's gonna be solid.
It's the worst Dan book ever written.
It's might be one of the worst books of the whole series.
I agree 100% so far. Like, if it doesn't improve drastically, it makes no like literal. I'm not even kidding you. First off, there's so many problems I have with this book. There's chapters, all like multiple chapters titled fragments, and those chapters are the worst because it's literally just like paragraphs that are not connected to each other about someone doing something somewhere. Most of the time don't know who they are. You don't know what they're trying to accomplish. It's like literally reading. It's like, and then Joshua walked up over the dirt, and there were 10,000 tanks, and then fire rained from the sky.
I
Next paragraph.
there those are
That's it.
those don't exist in the audiobook.
Huh?
Those don't exist in the audiobook.
Oh, dude, it's miserable. It's miserable. Like
That is
tons of stuff.
rough.
Tons and tons and tons of chapters just labeled fragments. And it's here's one. A marching Banelord Titan erupts in flames and falls, killing hundreds on the ground below. There are so many war engines in the advancing lines, its loss is barely noticed. That's it. Like that's all it talks about. And then it goes, a blast of a horn. 12th Astra Auxilia raises to the first step. 1,200 loyal soldiers and bowl helmets surge out of their lines and dugouts and charge into the unknown. The unknown is probably their doom, but it is preferable to the trenches they are leaving behind, where every shadow whispered and sniggered at them. That's it. Like then it goes into another paragraph. That's the beginning of the chapter.
Huh.
I have no idea where we're at, who that battle titan
I
is,
don't have those in the audiobook. I haven't
where
seen them in
the
the Kindle version either, but I've only read a couple chapters on Kindle.
I'm looking at page 139.
Oh.
I opened it randomly and here it is, a chapter entitled Fragments. And every single paragraph is just a different paragraph of something random happening that's supposed to set a scene, I guess. Like, how is there are so many war engines in the advancing lines, its loss is barely noticed. How? How were there so many war engines? Didn't we have an entire book about trying to kill off the war engines before they got to the
For
siege?
sure, dude, we fucking had to read that.
And
I've been
then an
ready to get in
entire
Mortis.
yeah, an entire book in Siege about siege engines killing each other. And the last book was like, okay, so we've got all the siege engines left. Let's fight at the gate. And then in this one, random paragraph. There are just so many fucking Titans walking around. Where are they getting them?
It's funny. I was talking to someone on the Horse Hour Discord, and they were saying, "Oh, I love like how they like was like really writing like the foundation for this book." And I was like, "No, no, no. That foundation was written for 7 books. This is the final book. There is no more foundation to write. This is the finale. There is no more like there should be zero fluff. This should be exactly what we expected it. Like this should have been the door closed. Literally I should have gone from ADB's book of the door closing to a POV of Sanguinius.
100%. That's exactly what I was expecting.
Instead,
This is going to be
I
straight bourbon.
it went to random Alpha Legion stuff and the Emperor finger painting. I cannot get over the finger painting thing on walls. Like I don't know why, but it's just so fucking ingrained to me about him drawing on fucking in caves as a caveman. And it's like, this is the future. We win this battle by doing this, this, and this.
We kill an animal
What?
tomorrow.
It's even more
What happened,
confusing
dude?
because he's with Malkador. Like, where the fuck is Ol?
Dude, what happened to like all the fun stuff at the beginning of the siege? What happened to the random warp meetings that we got between Horus and the Emperor? That was cool. What happened to Katsuhiro? Akatsuhira and all the shit he was doing. That was cool. What happened to point of views with Abaddon becoming the leader that he's supposed to be? We haven't seen or heard of him in 4 books. Like, I'm like, we had a vision
Yeah.
and it was dropped.
Yeah. What they've done to Abaddon is such a fucking failure. Like, Abaddon should be the main POV of the traders. And you're right, we haven't seen him in 4 books. Like, we're supposed to be hyped of this guy becoming the next War Master. What has he done? Got his ass kicked?
The last thing we saw of Abaddon, yeah. He talked some shit to Porto Rabo.
Cool. Then he got his ass kicked. So it's like, okay.
It's a fucking rough one, guys. Like, I don't look, I physically do not understand how there's no way this book is good. You could pick this book up randomly and be like, what the fuck am I reading? Like, I am in a daydream, right? Like, it's weird. Or you could read the rest of the Siege of Terra and then get to this book and be like,
What the fuck am I reading? This is weird.
what? Like, this is where this went? It went to here? Oh, man.
I just don't understand like why. And then like we finally get Sanguinius, and we have a moment where he hugs Dorn, and Dorn cries at him for a second. And then like Valdor comes in and is like, yeah, like don't fucking hug me. But you guys are tight.
I just kind of it, it should have just been 1 book. If it was 1 book, I guarantee you it would be probably the best book ever written in the history of the Horus Heresy. It would have so many cool action sequences, so many cool moments, so many deep conversations, so
This
many good
should have
things.
been one 700-page book.
And it was dropped. It was dropped because I don't know if they wanted to sell things. I don't know if it's because there was a lot of pride in there somewhere. I don't know. Like, it just turned out to be word vomit. Like, we had this beautiful build up. Some of the Siege books weren't great, but most of them were pretty good.
And you know what? I still don't even understand the point of the perpetuals at this point. Because I imagine the Emperor's gonna be gone by the time they even get into where the Emperor even is.
Well, who
The
knows?
Emperor's not even like he's not like in his throne room like chilling. He's underground in a fucking bunker next to a giant door that opens to another world that Vulcan's just because like crisp ass is just like sitting there smacking demons as they come over.
He is a little burnt. He keeps like fucking dying and coming back. His heart exploded at one point.
For Vulcan.
Poor guy. He just
And
keeps
he's not even
dying.
invited to this fucking party with Dorn and Sigismund. Like the Emperor's gonna leave and Vulcan's not even gonna know. Like no one told him. He's just sitting there with this protecting a door that no one's behind.
I just imagine like Sanguinius and Dorn and Malkador in there. Where's Vulcan? And Malkador just shows up like a fucking Butron. And there's Vulcan like dragging his hammer all fucked up.
Just so like
His
randomly
heart
swinging. There's
explodes.
nothing there. He's just
He
swinging.
comes back to life. They're like, Vulcan, you're on your way. Okay, Vulcan.
We'll see you when you get here, bud.
See you, pal. He's gonna spend the next 3 books walking up those stairs, isn't he?
Goddamn right he is.
He's gonna get to the end like all armored up, just fucking probably put together. But it's like the last chapter of the book, and he makes it to the top of the stairs. Like, fuck.
Then he just flies off for the next 10,000 years.
I'm gonna
When you
go.
guys find out my artifacts, I'll see what you're doing.
I'm done with this shit. You guys are weird.
This is all bullshit. All right, I've died like 1,000 times, protected in an empty fucking room. Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
Lock the door next time. I don't know. That's what everyone else does. We just lock our doors, and guess what? People normally don't break in. I don't get it. That's honestly, that's what they should have done to the door. Just put more locks on it.
Just put more locks on the door and you're all set.
It'll reinforce it. Put some big old pieces of wood. All right, that's what they did in the medieval times. They just put big old pieces of wood. No one will open those doors.
You could just have Sanguinius or Dorn stand in a doorway, and there's enough plot armor there to pretty much fight everything.
I mean, realistically, why don't you just set up like a sentry gun? Also, are we never gonna get the Grey Knight story?
No, not at all. I don't think you're going to see them in the siege whatsoever.
But the whole thing with them is Malcador goes to Titan and throws Titan into the warp to hide them.
I think it already happened.
But where?
Behind the scenes. That's not important. What you need to know is about this random
we have
Titan
this
that
super
falls
awesome
down.
secret army that we're never gonna talk about until 10,000 years later when they just randomly pop out of the warp.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. You don't need to know about any of that stuff.
God, I fucking hate this.
Well, that's too damn bad.
I still
You
want to
gotta
know where the hell
read.
Sigismund is and what he's doing.
You gotta
This
read
dude's supposed to
thousands
be
of
the
more
Emperor's
lines.
champion. He has this fucking big old black sword that everyone's like drooling over. Where the fuck is he?
Give me that black sword. I want to see it again.
It's the blackest thing I've ever seen.
Damn, it's delicious. Nope. Nope. There is no Sigismund. You don't get any of it. But you do get to watch. You do get to watch teleporting Loken.
You still haven't even seen Narek. Narek is supposed to be in this book too.
I'm a little worried that it's just going to be a flashback that Horace is having.
Remember that Narek guy? That dude was cool.
That was pretty cool. Narek's around, right? Somebody get me Narek.
Yeah, get some in the party. I want Narek. I want Logan. I need to say Janice. And where's that Alton chick? I've been trying to fuck her all week.
Where's Sevatar at? Somebody give me Sevatar.
We're like, yeah, where is Sevatar?
What's that? Who's that one guy from the Adeptus Mechanicus? Belisarius. Yeah, the guy's pretty cool. Bring him around too. Where did he go? You're about to find out.
Come on, Malgars, get on it.
Go get him. I have no idea who the fuck any of these people are that you just
I just, but hey, he's a master siegecraft guy, apparently better than anyone, and beating out 3 power marks while he has dementia.
Somebody give me Katsuhiro in Andromeda 17. Sir,
Don't ask.
what the fuck are you saying? You know those people. Everyone keeps forgetting about them. I wanna talk to them.
What about that one like Alpha Legion guy? Like he's like a normal dude. He's just running around.
Were those 2 dudes that were at that Alpha Legion place?
He's like very northern. Like
Yeah.
You'll know.
And while we're on it, wasn't there was like these 2 dudes and this chick, and it was a while back with the Cabal and shit. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, they were at the army, and then they were attacked by lizards, and then they were saved by 25 Alfariuses.
Yeah, like what about like the one chick who in Legion who like John was like super into, who was like acting crazy and turned out she was fucking Legion.
Yeah, that's the chick I was talking about.
Yeah, like
that's the chick Horace wants. What, that one chick?
where the fuck is
Attacked
she?
by
What
lizards.
happened to that?
Somebody give me the lizard chick.
Although, like, wouldn't that be cool if like she was the chick that was with that other guy, and he's that other guy from Legion? So in Lost in the Damned, we had that guy, that chick, and Katsuhira.
Give me that one. Give me that one chick.
That one guy, that other guy, that one chick, and like 2 other dudes, and then one room.
Somebody go find me a salamander on this spot. I know there's like three of them still roaming around.
At least
We
they just
lost
keep
some of
popping
them
up.
somewhere. Hey, where's Rylanor? Can we get Rylanor back? Somebody go get me Rylanor.
Just go find him. He's there. He's there. I can feel it.
I'm getting a name. Eldrad Oathwand. Is that a person? Should we be?
Oh yeah, what the fuck is Eldred doing?
Where's Alexis Pollux? Is he gonna come
Also, like,
along?
what about like that super my brother, Korax? Where
Who
the
the
fuck's
fuck
he
is
at? Like, I would
Corax?
love to
Is
have
it?
tea with that guy.
Let's cancel on the Corax. I don't want to see Corax
He does do some weird shit.
He's kind of strange. He's kind
Is
of
there's
strange.
always thinks he's invisible. But it's great for parties.
And please don't bring Corfarion or I guess Erebus is here, isn't he? He's already is he in the list of people?
I don't know. He hasn't shown up yet.
Is Erebus supposed to be the dude that all keeps hearing following them? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. It's very confusing because originally it was like John. Now it's not John.
Yeah, I thought it was like originally written to be John. He was scared of it, but he didn't need to be.
Yeah. I mean, it
Um,
has to be, right? Because, like, that was the last storyline. He was going to go find them.
yeah, I don't see Erebus in here at all. So I don't know. Let's keep Erebus out of this. He's a little weird. He's a little weird. I'm not a fan.
So I just don't understand this book. I don't understand people that like this book. Like, I mean, if you like it, tell me why. Oh, it gets great around page 400. Should I ever? I should never have to read 400 pages for a book to be good.
Jesus Christ. It's like, yeah, that's a rough one. That's a rough one.
Yeah, like it should take no more than 50 pages for a good for you to know if a book's going to be good or not.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like when someone tells you just like get through the first two seasons of a three-season series.
Oh,
I'm
The
like,
Witcher was really good. And The Witcher was weird until like episode like 4, and like, oh, this means they're in the past. This means they're in the present.
yeah, I think they might have been able to do that better. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree. I agree. But it was like, okay, this is actually good now. I was really confused though for a while.
I think like for one season, I was kind of backing them. I was like, okay, this is why things are the way they are.
Yeah. Although like
And like
people like hated Game
mentally,
of
I think in the
Thrones
back of
still.
my head, I was like, why did they do it that way? That's not people are gonna be so confused. No one's gonna like this. But I gave them the benefit.
Yeah.
And season 2 and 3 rolls around. I'm like, oh,
3 wasn't great. 2 was
they're
like
just really
okay.
bad at writing TV shows.
Yeah. But like Game of Thrones, right? Like a lot of people were like season 1's boring. And then you get to episode 9, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I loved Game of Thrones though, even in the beginning.
I mean I enjoy like political bullshit like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bring me, bring me Tyrion Lannister.
Do you watch For All Mankind, or have you started For All Mankind yet?
I have not. I gotta get
I
to
just
it.
finished season 2 and it was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Highly recommend For All Mankind for anyone listening. It's on Apple TV. It's fucking it's really good.
I've got a book to read, man. Seriously, I was sitting there today and I feel like I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Only like 1,500 more pages, probably a little bit more, and I'm out of here.
Yeah. It's been rough, especially like Echoes of Eternity was really good. Like there was never like a moment where I was like, man, I really don't want to like read this. This book, I'm like, fuck. I just have so much more to read. And then another book doing the exact same shit that I know should have already happened. Like
Are we talking? Are we talking a lot of shit about this book?
we're burying it, but
You
goddamn.
can. Dan Abnett hears this. Not that he ever will. But do you think if Dan hears this, he's gonna be like, oh, "What a bunch of assholes," or do you think he's gonna be like, "Yeah,
Like, bitch, I got paid. I don't care.
yeah, well, fair enough." Like,
I don't know,
hey,
people like this. I don't know how. I don't know why.
there's a major amount of copium being consumed. Yes,
I think it's people like wanting, just really wanting like more of the series, and we're obviously very over the series at this point. Maybe like like I said, maybe we're just like fucking cynical and we don't want more, and they keep giving us more. But I don't think this is written well.
I've spent thousands. That's not a under exaggeration. Probably at least five to 10, I'd say almost $10,000 on Warhammer products in my life. I mean,
So
I've
that's not
literally
even
got
counting probably traveling and shit.
yeah, I've literally got fucking sprues sitting right here for some fucking Death Guard, which I hate, but I got them. And I don't understand. You would think spending that much money, you're like, oh, I just love it. I want to see more of it. But it's like if you're really like a true fan, I feel like you want to see it done well.
Yeah. I mean, no one enjoys seeing things get drawn out. Like think about like TV shows. Like when a season ends poorly, like that's the finale, like that's what you remember.
Yeah.
Like people hate The Sopranos.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, Lost, like big, very popular shit. And it's just like,
Supernatural.
yeah, like
Just
there's a
stop it.
bunch of bad shit out there, and that's what you remember.
It's a
So
shame Warhammer
then you
was
have things
on.
like Breaking Bad that ended great. Like everything concluded, everything made sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
great with that.
Ted Lasso was 3 seasons, and they tried to get him to do more. He said, no, story's over. Genius.
That's what you
What
should
people
do.
don't understand, the greatest fantasy novel ever written of all time was Lord of the Rings, and it was 3 books, and it actually wasn't supposed to be 3 books, but it was 3 books, and that was it. Like, that's it. He wrote some Cimmerillion shit, but it didn't extend the storyline. It wasn't like the Return of the King. Like, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have an ending. Like I understand you're a business, right? You gotta sell shit. People still buy Lord of the Rings stuff.
How
People
much money has Lord of the Rings fucked?
Star Wars didn't have any movies for what, 10 years, 15 years? And now and that was still selling fine. Hell, it sold for billions of dollars.
Some would argue it's
Oh, it's
was
dog shit
doing
now.
better before today.
But I guarantee their stock numbers for that shit's up just because they're milking it. And people are fandoms are ridiculous. Like you should want your thing to end. Like yeah, like your thing ending kind of sucks, but at the same time, like you should want that closure. Like, do you
Yeah,
want to be on your deathbed and be like, damn it, they never finished the last book?
it's
No,
kind of
I want to
fun.
know the ending and be like, ah, well, that was a thing.
It's interesting because you see that. I mean, I feel like I'm pointing out the obvious, but you see that everywhere now. Aragon, Christopher Paolini, just released another book in the same series. Been like 12 years because he wanted to continue. Hunger Games just released another movie and a book.
Yeah,
Why? Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts. Why? Why?
milky, milky, milky.
It's like, and it just makes it terrible. I mean, even Lord of the Rings, they did The Hobbit. If you look at the Lord of the Rings books, Lord of the Rings is like that thick, man, maybe like that big. The Hobbit's like that big.
Hey,
There's
three
more
books out
screen
of the Hobbit.
time for The Hobbit than there is for the Lord of the Rings, and it's not. It's a worst series of movies.
Yeah,
I'm ranting. We're ranting. It's been well over an hour. Just
yeah,
end the book, please.
yeah. I got the text of, "Are you almost done?" So yeah, I mean, next week this might just be 3 parts of reviews just because it's a long book and we have nothing but time realistically, plus we have holidays coming up.
Probably do a Christmas special.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to do like a year in review because This might technically have fallen on our 3 years. Next week might be our 3 year. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Maybe we do a year in review next week or a year in review at the end of the year. Who knows?
Yeah, but that's it for a of review of The End of the Death, Volume 1, Part 1.
Part one. Oh
Part
yeah.
1.
Well, part two of part one of the review of the end of the volume one.
Yeah. So we'll do all this again next week. Probably a part 2, maybe some more bullshit at the end, and then
Some section
be a part.
C.
We'll see where we're at. I've been sick this last week, so I have been going to the gym to listen to the book. So it's been rough. So as always, guys, hit us up on Discord. Find that pin to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at Heresy Lodge. Buy yourself some merch. Buy your loved ones merch. Everyone wants merch. That's it. Those are things. You have a good one, guys.